Hannah Anderson is an American woman who gained national attention due to her harrowing experience as a kidnapping victim in 2013. Below is a detailed history of her life, including the events surrounding her kidnapping and how it was ultimately resolved. Hannah Anderson was born on September 22, 1997 in California, USA, to parents Brett and Christina Anderson. She grew up in the small town of Lakeside, California, with her two younger brothers. The Anderson family was considered well integrated into their community and were known for their close-knit and loving family dynamic. The events that led to Hannah's kidnapping began on the afternoon of August 4, 2013. That day, her mother, Christina, and younger brother Ethan were both murdered in the family's home by James DiMaggio, a family friend. DiMaggio, a 40-year-old man, had been close to the Anderson family for years. He was described as a friend and mentor to Hannah and her brothers, and he had often spent time with the family, even taking them on trips. However, James DiMaggio harbored darker intentions. The motive for the killings was initially unclear, but it was later revealed that DiMaggio had a deep infatuation with Hannah, who was 16 years old at the time. He had grown increasingly obsessed with her, and investigators speculated that the murders were an attempt to create a life with her away from her family. The killings took place in their home in Lakeside, and then DiMaggio set the house on fire to cover up the crime. After murdering Hannah's mother and brother, DiMaggio abducted Hannah, taking her with him on a cross-country flight to Idaho, a journey that marked the beginning of a nationwide manhunt. When Hannah was kidnapped, her father, Brett Anderson, was away on a trip, which initially delayed the realization of what had occurred. Upon his return, he found the charred remains of his wife and son in their burned-out home. He immediately contacted the authorities, and a missing person report was filed for Hannah. The search for Hannah and DiMaggio intensified quickly, with law enforcement agencies across the country joining forces to track them down. DiMaggio was a former air employer mechanic, and it was revealed that he had used a vehicle to transport Hannah to his home in the rural areas of Idaho. However, as the investigation unfolded, a startling revelation emerged. Despite the severity of the situation, Hannah seemed to be communicating with friends through social media and text messages, leading some to wonder about her role in the unfolding events. The pivotal moment came on August 7, 2013, when the authorities received an anonymous tip about the location of the pair. Using the information, they were able to narrow down the search area to a remote location in the Cascade Mountains of Idaho. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies launched a focused search for DiMaggio and Hannah, with helicopters and search teams combing the area. On August 10, 2013, just a few days after the abduction, law enforcement officials discovered the pair at a remote campsite in the rugged wilderness. At the campsite, FBI agents surrounded the area and a confrontation took place. Authorities were able to rescue Hannah without incident. DiMaggio was shot and killed during the standoff, reportedly after he attempted to reach for a weapon. Hannah was transported to safety and her health and well-being were assessed. She was physically unharmed, but emotionally and psychologically traumatized from the ordeal. In interviews afterward, Hannah expressed shock and confusion over the events, describing how DiMaggio had manipulated and coerced her into staying with him during their time in the wilderness. Hannah's case became widely publicized due to the intense media coverage of her rescue and the tragic circumstances surrounding her family's deaths. Public reaction was mixed. Many were sympathetic to her as a victim, but there was also significant speculation about her behavior during the ordeal. The fact that she had communicated with friends during her captivity and was seen in photos looking calm raised questions about her level of involvement or complicity in the situation. In the wake of the rescue, Hannah received counseling and support from professionals. Her father, Brett Anderson, stood by her side throughout the recovery process and continued to maintain that Hannah was an innocent victim in the crime. She had been forced into the situation by DiMaggio's manipulations and threats. In the months following the rescue, law enforcement officials delved into DiMaggio's history and motives. It was discovered that he had harbored an obsessive crush on Hannah for some time and had even been trying to create a bond with her before the kidnapping. He had a criminal record and had been suspected of engaging in inappropriate behavior with underage girls in the past, though nothing concrete had ever been proven before the events of 2013. There was no clear indication that Hannah had ever reciprocated DiMaggio's feelings, and much of the investigation focused on how DiMaggio's mental state deteriorated. It was suggested that he had grown increasingly unstable in the months leading up to the murders and the kidnapping, which led him to act on his obsession. After her rescue, Hannah faced a period of intense media scrutiny. In interviews, she talked about the trauma of losing her mother and brother, and the confusing emotions she had experienced during the time she was with DiMaggio. She expressed guilt over her inability to escape him earlier, but it was clear she was psychologically manipulated throughout the ordeal. Hannah eventually graduated from high school and started a new life, moving forward with the support of her father and extended family. She has occasionally spoken out about her experiences and the psychological scars left by her ordeal. In the years since the kidnapping, she has remained largely out of the public eye, though she did give a few interviews to help raise awareness about child abductions and the impact such traumatic events have on victims. As of 2024, Hannah Anderson is an adult, and little information is available about her current life. She is believed to be living in California, away from the public spotlight and maintaining a low profile. She has used her experience to advocate for awareness about kidnapping and abuse survivors, though she has generally kept her personal life private. The kidnapping case remains a tragic chapter in her life, but it also ended with her safe return, thanks to the tireless efforts of law enforcement agencies. While she continues to heal from the trauma, her story has highlighted the complexities of abusive relationships and the danger of manipulation, even by someone considered a trusted family friend.